Again before Mincha, so we'll start again from there. Okay, we are on Ayin Dalet and Beis. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines from the bottom. Exactly. We're dealing with all sorts of questions about Ben Pekua, about an animal that's slaughtered, and we find inside of the animal a fetus. They had a question in the yeshiva. Mahu limnos bo rishon v'sheni. Would we count with this fetus the different stages of tumah? We know that if an avat tumah touches food, that food becomes rishon l'tumah. The rishon could touch another thing and make that into a sheni. So here the question is like this. The mother was slaughtered. So now the mother became food. So let's say an avat tumah touches the mother. Does the mother now become a rishon, so that this live 9-month-old fetus that we take out of it, the ben pekua, is now a sheni l'tumah? Now, normally a live animal can't become any tumah, because a live animal is not food. It's not able to be makabel tumah. It can't absorb impurity. But this ben pekua is already food, because the shechita of the mother works for it. So once the shechita worked for it, so maybe as food, it could also become tameh. So what's the halacha? Can we count rishon v'sheni here? Rabbi Yochanan amamonim bo rishon v'sheni. Rabbi Yochanan says these are two different bodies. So since they're two different bodies, the mother is killed, it could become a rishon. Once it becomes a rishon, the fetus inside of it becomes a sheni. Reb Shimon Lakish Amar, whereas Rish Lakish says, ein monin bo rishon v'sheni. No, the fetus does not become a sheni l'tumah. Why? Because nasa ke'egos hamiskashkesh b'kli paso. This fetus is like the fetus is like a walnut that's inside its shell. So in other words, as Rashi says, just like the mother is a rishon, the fetus is a rishon. It's just part of the mother. That's the shechita of the mother worked for it. It was just part of it. So therefore, it doesn't have its own status of the next level of impurity of being a sheni l'tumah. It's also a rishon l'tumah, just like the mother was a rishon l'tumah. So you have an argument here, an argument between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. When we have a law of ben pekua, so the mother can become slaughtered. The mother that touches avat tumah becomes rishon l'tumah. Now, does that make the ben pekua inside of it a sheni l'tumah? Or do we say that the ben pekua inside of it is still a rishon l'tumah? According to Rabbi Yochanan, this ben pekua inside is a sheni l'tumah. According to Rish Lakish, the ben pekua inside is a rishon l'tumah, like the mother outside. Rish Lakish, who held that the child inside is still a rishon l'tumah, it's not a sheni l'tumah. He challenges Rabbi Yochanan. We learned in our Mishnah, Habasar maga nevela de Rabbi Meir, Rachacham omrim maga treifa shchuta. Right? We saw in our Mishnah, if the ben pekua puts its foreleg out, and then when the foreleg is outside of the womb, we slaughter the mother. So now, what's the status of the rest of the fetus that didn't go out? According to Rabbi Meir, the rest of the fetus is touching nevela, because it was touching Ever min achai. It's touching a limb that went out, and a limb that went out has the status of Ever min achai. Ever min achai has tumas nevela, can make the rest of it tameh as nevela. The rest of the fetus is basar that's touching nevela. And according to the Chachamim, the rest of the fetus is basar, is meat that's touching a treifa shchuta. Because the shechita worked for the organ that was outside, like the shechita would work for a treifa to remove the tumah. So now says Rish Lakish, listen, Bishmal Didi, it all works according to me. I say that the mother and the fetus is a single body. So now we have a law. Fred pointed this out yesterday. All foods to become able to become tameh need to be mukhshar. It's okay. So let's say the mother is slaughtered. So now we say the mother is a food because it was slaughtered. Now it's no longer alive, it's slaughtered. Now you'll say, since the shechita worked for the ben pekua is also a food. But 1 second. Where was the ben pekua mukhshar? Where was the ben pekua meat rinsed to be able to become tamei because that it's touching Ever Menachai, or that it's tamei with the Tumah D'Rabbanan of touching treifa that was slaughtered. Where was it mukhshar? If you say it's all one body, so Bishma, it works for the according to me. That means I say it's all one body. I did this kasher bedama deime. I understand where the fetus meat became mukhshar to become tamei. The blood of its mother, since the blood of the mother is flowing around the mother, so the mother becomes mukhshar with the blood of the mother. So therefore, since it's part of the mother, it also is mukhshar. Sometimes you can use the tissue. You can maybe pass the tissue. Thank you. El didach. But according to you, that you say that the fetus is a separate organism. As a separate organism, it's a different level of tumah. So if it's a separate organism, it should need its own rinsing. But my iskasher. How was the fetus meat made able to become tamei from the organ of it that went out and has either the status of nevel or the status of treifa? Amar lei. So Rabbi Yochanan responded to Rish Lakish, that's not such a problem. Maybe that Mishnah, this Mishnah that we're dealing with, Bishchita, the shchita of the mother, everybody agrees, works for the fetus. Mm-hmm. There's a din shchita, there's a law of shchita on the fetus. Shchita itself makes an animal able to become tamei. According to Reb Shimon, like Reb Shimon, according to Reb Shimon, you don't need liquid, you don't need blood to make the meat of an animal able to become tamei. The shchita makes it able to become tamei. So since the shchita worked for the child, the shchita made the child able to become tamei. And since the child is now touching a piece of the child that was outside at the time of the shchita, which has the status of Ever Menachai, therefore it became tamei magan nevela, according to Rabbi Meir.
Oh, so when is the mother's shech, automatically whatever is out of the fetus is tamei, is that right?
Yeah. It's for Rabbi Yochanan and Shimon Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan now challenges Rish Lakish. The other way, Rabbi Yochanan holds that the fetus and the mother are two separate things. So if the mother is a Rishon, Rabbi Yochanan holds that the fetus can become a Sheni. So now Rabbi Yochanan challenges Rish Lakish. We learned in a brisa. Let's say you have a mother slaughtered, and inside the mother we find a 9-month-old fetus who is alive. And this 9-month-old fetus grows up. And then, Avar Bad Nahar, then the 9-month-old fetus walks through the river, Hukshar. So by walking through the river, he's rinsed. Now he's able to become Tamei. If he wanders into the cemetery, Nitma, he becomes Tamei. 1 second. Says the same kasha, but the other way. Alright, this can all work according to my opinion. I say that a mother and a fetus, even though the fetus was inside when the mother was slaughtered, they have the status of two separate bodies. Okay? Mishumachi, hukshar in, lo hukshar lo. So that's why the law would be that if the fetus that grows up walks through the river, now it's able to become tamei. If it didn't walk through the river, it was not mukhshar, and it's not able to become tamei. That's what according to you. But you hold that mother and fetus are one entity. You hold that they're one entity. So if they're all one entity, so as you said, so through the shechita of the mother and the blood flowing through the mother, making the mother able to become tamei. Now the fetus is able to become tamei because it's just part of the mother. It's just a piece of the mother. When the mother was mukhshar with its own blood, the fetus becomes mukhshar. So then, 1 second, why does the brisa say that it's only when it walked through the river it became mukhshar to become tamei? It was in the mother. It became mukhshar. It became able to become tamei just by being part of the mother. So the Gemara says an amazing thing. This case of this brisa is b'shchita yabeshta, a slaughter with no blood, a dry slitting of the neck. Rashi says b'shchita yabeshta skinan. We're dealing with a dry shchita, shelo yatsa mimena dam. No blood came out through the shchita. Shafim lo hukshar, and the mother therefore was not mukhshar to be able to become tamei. Well, the Haitana, this Tana disagrees with Reb Shimon, as the Gemara then says, the local Reb Shimon, not like Reb Shimon, who holds that the shechita itself makes it mukhshar to become tamei.
But don't they call in general that live animals can't become tamei?
Correct.
So, but this then because it's alive in this scenario,
right.
It's walking in, and we're saying it's tamei.
Correct.
No, but his mother is
Because
not.
maybe he was mukhshar through the shechita of its mother.
I understand the usually doesn't work for live animals. So you're
Correct.
saying it's kind
Different.
of like a dead animal.
That pekua has all sorts of
That's what he
status.
did.
I wouldn't say like a dead animal, it's like a shechted animal. So a shechted animal is already food.
Even though it's alive.
Once it's a
Isn't
shechted
it-
animal, it can become tummy.
Isn't the ben pekua tahara belua? So how is it becoming tame by virtue of the fact that the mother is tame?
The Gemara discussed that.
I don't-
The Gemara discussed that. The Tarabula issues. So now, Mantana Avar Banar Huchshar. Halach Beisakvaros Nitma. Who's the Tana of this Raisa who says that this live Ben Pekua, once it walks through the river, becomes Mukhshar, so that if it goes into the cemetery, it's Tameh? Rabbi Yochanan explained, Rabbi Yossi Aglili, this is the view of Rabbi Yossi Aglili. The Tanya, as we learned in a Brisa. Shimon Elazar Omishim Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Shimon Elazar says, in the name of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Metame Tumas Ochlin. The Ben Pekua, even when it's live, gets Tameh as food, becomes Tameh. Vitzarich Hechsher. But it needs its own rinsing to be able to become Tameh. So you see, that's the view of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, as Rashi says. This is what David was bothered by. Man Tana de Mitameli Avapi Shu Chai. What Tana would say it's Tameh even though it's alive? Live things normally don't become Tameh. What it says, it's Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Mitamei Tumas Ochlim, Ben Pekua, Afilu Chai, even if it's alive. In Naga Betum, if it touches Tumah, it's Arach Hechsher, but it needs its own action. Yitrei Gufi Ninu, because these are two different bodies. So you see, the Rabbi Yossi Aglili, it can make things Tameh, and it can become Tameh even when it's alive. The Chacham say in that Brisa, the Ben Pekua walking around doesn't have the ability to become Tameh as food that became Tameh and to transmit Tumah. Because it's alive. And whatever is alive doesn't have the ability to create Tumas Ochlin.
One other quick question, Rabbi. How would this?
Just 1 second. Yes.
How would the animal become susceptible to tuma by walking through a river? I thought that the liquid has to be put on the animal for the benefit of the owner. And what would be the benefit of the owner here? Of the
Wanted to wash it
animal
off.
walking through?
He's happy that it washed it
I mean,
off.
it just sounds like it's an animal walking through. a
Yeah,
river.
yeah. But you're right. It has to be, something that the owner would like. That's right.
So this is like a mikveh for the animal?
The opposite of it. It makes it able to become Tameh.
Okay.
Says the Gemara, V'az Rabbi Yochanan l'tamei. And Rabbi Yochanan's being consistent to his own opinion.
It's very strange, the system. Very strange, unique concept.
That the living creature would be eaten without food.
Right.
Rabbi Yochanan used to say, Rabbi Yossi Aglili Beis Shammai Amru Tavo Yachad. Rabbi Yossi Aglili and Beis Shammai both say the same thing. Rabbi Yossi Aglili Hadamar. Rabbi Yossi Aglili, what we just said. And Beis Shammai Ditznan Dagim. We learned in the Mishnah fish, which don't need a shchita. At what point can they become tummy? Beis Shammai Mishi Yitzodu. Beis Shammai say once they are trapped. Since they don't need a shechita, once you trap them, they become a food, and they can now become tameh. So you see that they hold like Rabbi Yossi Aglili, even though it's alive. The fish here is alive, but since it can already have the status of a food, so Ben Pekua also, Ben Pekua, even though it's alive, can have the status of a food because it doesn't need shechita. You see that they both hold that what doesn't need shechita has the status of a food when it's alive. Beis Hillel say no, Mishia Musu, only once they die. That's when they're food. Rabbi Akiva says, when are the fish able to become tamei? Once they're taken out of the water and they won't be able to come back to life. So they're on their last legs. My Benai, what's the difference between these different views between Beis Hillel and Rabbi Akiva? Right, because Beis Hillel say once the fish is dead, it's able to become tamei. Rabbi Akiva says once the fish can't live. So if it can't live, doesn't that mean dead? So Rabbi Yochanan answered, Dag mekartea ika beinayu. A fish where the scales have dried. Since the scales have dried, it can't live. According to Beis Hillel, since it's not actually dead, it's still not yet a food. Therefore, it does not have the ability to become tamei. So now, from the fact that Rabbi Yochanan said that Rabbi Yossi Aglili is like Beis Shammai, and that the Chacham would disagree with Rabbi Yossi Aglili are not like Beis Shammai. So we see that the Chachamim of this Brisa are like the Chacham of our Mishnah, that a ben Pekua can be eaten, but nevertheless, he's still not Makabel Tumah, because as David said, he's still alive. So that's why they disagree with Beis Shammai about fish. Fish also, when they are alive, they hold it cannot be Makabel Tumah. Because if we're going to say that the Chacham of Rabbi Yossi Aglili hold like Rabbi Meir, that a ben Pekua needs its own shchita, so that it doesn't have the ability to become tamei when it's inside, so then they should be agreeing, and if so, they're still agreeing. And then they should agree to Beis Shammai that when things don't need shchita, they should be able to become tamei. So why do you only say that Rabbi Yossi Aglili is like Beis Shammai? Even the Chachamim could be like Beis Shammai in regards to fish. So what do you see from Rabbi Yochanan? The Chachamim disagree with Rabbi Yossi Aglili, hold like the Chachamim of our Mishnah, and that's why Rabbi Yochanan is being consistent by saying that the Brisa of the Ben Pekua becoming tamei by going to the cemetery through going through the water is only the view of Rabbi Yossi Aglili.
So Rabbi Beis Shammai's opinion about the fish being tamei when it's trapped.
Able to become tamei once it was trapped.
But this is not halakha.
Correct. That's right. We follow the view of Beis Hillel. That's right. Right. Yeah. So we have all these, very interesting, scenarios now. Talking about fish. Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda asked the following question. Right. We just said that fish can become tamei. When are they able to become tamei? According to Beis Shammai, once they're trapped. According to Rabbi Akiva, once their scales have dried, so that they're not going to come back to life. They're not going to live anymore. They're on their way to death. There's no way to revive them. They're not yet dead, though, but, Goralam Nechratz, their fate has been determined. And according to Beit Hillel, they can become tamei once they are actually dead. So, Rav Chisda asked the following question. No, to b'dagim simane treifa mahu. What's the law if in the fish they develop simane treifa? So they're not actually dead, but they have some of those things that are problems for a treifa, a hole in the intestines. A hole in the intestines of the fish. So now, this would be a question according to the opinion that a treifa generally can live. It's even a question according to the one that treifa doesn't live. Now, according to the opinion that normally simane treifa doesn't mean it's going to die, it can still live, but it's halakha motion. We've seen that these simane treifa make it not kosher. Maybe that's really true in animals, because animals have a lot of vibrancy. But fish, they don't have so much life. So maybe with fish, since they don't have so much life, then the treifa doesn't live. So if a treifa of fish doesn't live, then once a fish has simane treifa, according to Rabbi Akiva, it should be able to become tamei, because it's the same thing as a fish whose scales dried off. It's ein achaya. Or maybe the other way. Even the opinion that says that the simane treifa mean that animal's not going to live, so that's true about an animal. Because in animals, there's a law of shchita. So since in animals there's a law of shchita, once this animal is a treifa, it's not able to have shchita, and therefore it's considered dead. But maybe in fish that there's no law of shchita. Lo. So maybe even though they have all these problems, we don't care that they have these problems. Because we don't even need a shchita. And therefore maybe it's not considered a food yet. Even though it's, it has a treifos. So we don't know the answer to this question. Okay.
This conversation about treifa and fish is only with regard to tuma.
Correct. In regards to tuma. Right. We certainly are allowed to eat these fish. If they're taken out, the fish were taken out of the water.
So Rabbi, I think the fish gets treifa by not having a scale or,
No, it's still kosher as long as it had scales. We saw that. The Gemara said if the scales fall off in the water, it's still kosher.
Right.
We even saw some commentators say that the fish, when they get angry, they drop their scales.
No, I understand, but that part I understand. But this is the only way that the fish is treifa, or but it's from inside too. There is a hole.
That's the question. What's the law if the fish intestine got a hole?
It wouldn't survive anyhow.
Okay, so is that enough to say that it's like a fish without scales, that it's able to become tummy, or maybe not? Maybe it's different. All right, back to the Ben Pekua. Hitila Nathan. The animal. An animal gives birth to a Nathan. Right, the animal gave birth to an 8-month-old calf, and it dies right away. So now what's the law of what's inside that calf? Rabbi Yochanan said, Chel bo kechelev behema. The fat inside of that calf has the status of chelev. Anyone who eats it gets kares. The fat has the status of the fat of kosher fat, like the fat of a wild animal, and there's no kares. However, it's just nevela. It's like meat of nevela. Rabbi Yochanan holds the fat as the status of any other fat of a domesticated animal. Avira garim. The air causes. Rashi says, Avira garim l'shavi behema. The fact that it came out into the air makes it into a domesticated animal. So now it's a born animal. So an animal with fat is prohibited. Shlakish said no. This fat is permitted fat. It's like the fat of a wild animal. Because chadashim garmu. To make something considered an animal, a living animal, it needs the right amount of gestation plus air. Here was only 8 months of gestation. It was only 8 months in the womb. So it's not an animal, it's just chatichat basar, a piece of meat. So a piece of meat that has fat on it is not chelev. So it's considered like chelev chai, it's kosher.
Are we talking about where you slaughtered the mother also, or just the thing just came out?
Just came out. Just came out.
So why wouldn't you need shechita? So how does that agriculture, I guess? It's just like the whole reason Ben Pekua works because you shechted the mother, right?
Yeah, but we're saying that since this thing never lived, never had a chance of life, so maybe it's not called behema, it's called chatichat basar. It's like basar porish minachai. It's like basar minachai. It's meat that came out.
But when he came out, it was breathing.
It was breathing. Okay, so maybe, but now it's dead. Now it's dead.
You're saying it's something besides regular meat, kind of. It's
meat.
But normally meat needs a shechita, either because it was inside or because
no, this can't get a shechita because it's not going to be alive.
Right. So
it's not considered. What's shechita? Shechita is that you severed the life of this creature by slitting the 2 pipes. This is already dead. It's breathing for a second.
Well, it's not nevela, I guess.
It is nevela. It is nevela.
Okay.
So the question is, but if you have a regular nevela, the fat of a nevela is chelev. But here you have the fat of this. Is this called chaylev or not.
You can normally eat the fat of a nekela?
No.
They'll get kares.
But there's no
That's
karet
punishment.
versus karet.
That's the question, whether we're
That's
going
the
to
question.
He'd get kares. This isn't the status of chaylev or shuman.
That's
But
right.
Rabbi, is the baby
Can't eat it, but
when he
it-
came out, is it breathing or is not breathing?
Yeah, breathing for a couple minutes, then it
So that
dies.
during that couple of minutes, could they do shechan on the
No,
baby?
because it's not going to live. They know it's not going to live, so it's not a
What's
shechita.
the alternative? You get
Ah.
mapas.
Yeah, is it karet or no karet?
Ikadami, another version. Some say, Kol echad lo kol lo chadashav. Any calf inside that hasn't had the full 9 months. Lo klumhu. Of course, it's nothing. Keep pligi, where is there an argument? Echad ahoshit yado lemei behema. Let's say a man puts his hand inside the womb of the animal. Vitala shchelev shel ben teschai. And detaches the fat from inside the fetus of a 9-month-old fetus. The achani lives it, eats it. Rabbi Yochanan says, Chelbo, chelev behema. This is fat. This is chelev, like any other domesticated animal. Chadashim garma, because what matters is the months. It had 9 months of gestation. It's an animal. Reb Shimon ben Lakish Amar, Rish Lakish says no. This fat that was surgically removed has the status of kosher fat. For a birth to be a birth, and for an animal to be called an animal, to be called behemoth, to be called a domesticated animal, it have to have 9 months. Plus actually breathing. This never breathed, it was still inside. Rabbi Yochanan challenges Rish Lakish. This is a brisa in the Medrash on Vayikra. So the Brisa says like this: just like when the Torah says about a korban asham, you are to offer the fat and the 2 kidneys into the fire. And if this korban asham was pregnant, you just offer 2 kidneys. You don't offer 4 kidneys. You don't take the kidneys from the fetus and offer that into the fire. You offer 1 set of fat, not 2 sets of fat. And by saying fat and 2 kidneys, you're excluding the fat and the kidneys of the fetus inside of the asham. Afkol, so to an all karbanos. The fat of the baby inside cannot be offered onto the fire. So says Rabbi Yochanan, according to me, that a baby by having 9 months is already a baby. Now I understand why I need a pasuk to say, even though it's a baby and the fat is fat, you can't use it as a korban. But according to you, you say that the fat of the baby inside is not considered chelev because the baby never came out. So I need a pasuk for it. Amar le, Rish Lakish answered to him, this is my source. Why is it that the fat of the baby inside the korban asham can't be offered on the mizbeach to fulfill the law of chelev on the mizbeach? Because it's not considered part of the mother. It's not considered fat. So if it's not considered fat, that's my source also, that a person who eats it would not be getting kares. My source is from this pasuk. Ikadami, others say the question was the other way. Rish Lakish challenged Rabbi Yochanan. Saying like this, the Brisa said there, just like in an asham who has a pregnancy, the fat of the fetus can't go onto into the fire as the korban. Afkol mutza michlal shlil. So it's in all korbanos, you can't take the fat from the fetus for the korban. Okay, to me it works. This is why Hashem is excluding it, to tell you that it's not considered chelev, And if someone were to eat it, he wouldn't get kares. El didach. But according to you, where if you would eat it, you would get kares, likarev. Why also couldn't it be offered onto the mizbeach? He said, no, there are lots of things that can't be caught on the mizbeach. Think about a carbon that's less than 8 days old. It's certainly a behema. Its fat is fat. You still can't bring it on the mizbeach. So this also, the fat inside the fetus is mechusar zman. It can't go on the mizbeach, but that's not a proof that it's not considered chelev.
Because the mother is still alive, right, Rabbi? Is that what it is?
It was no, because it was taken from when it was inside.
I know, but still the mother was alive.
Yeah. All right, next case. Rabbi Ami said, "Hashochet is a treifa." Let's say a person shechts an animal, which is a treifa. Umatza ba ben teschai. He finds inside a calf that's a full 9 months old, and it's alive. So divrei oser, according to the view of Rabbi Meir, that when a healthy mother is slaughtered, the baby needs its own shchita. He doesn't believe in the law of ben pekua the way we have it. Then matir. So this fetus could have a good shchita. It could have a good shchita once it itself is slaughtered. But the one who says that when the mother is slaughtered, the ben pekua becomes permitted. So now in this case, oser. So now there's nothing you could do for this fetus. The shchita of the mother didn't work for it because that was a shchita of a treifa. And it itself also can't have a shchita because it's not a treifa. It's considered like one of the limbs of the treifa. So just like the shchita of the treifa didn't work for it, it also makes it something which cannot become permitted.
In other words, if the slaughtering of the animal doesn't work, the baby inside
The baby inside gets stuck. That's the view of Rav Ami. Rav said no. Divrei Amatir, according to Rabbi Meir, that the shchita of the mother normally doesn't work for. I'm sorry, no, you're right. I'm sorry, right. Divrei Amatir, according to the view that a shchita of the mother works for a baby, the baby doesn't need a shchita once the mother was slaughtered. Nami mutter. This case is also mutter. Why? Because Dalet Simanim Achsher Beirachmana. Hashem, when he says the concept of ben pekua, is really giving you 4 possible pipes: the 2 pipes of the mother, plus the 2 types of the child. In other words, the ben pekua, when Hashem said kol behema tochilu, whatever is in the animal you can eat, that's a leniency to say even the shchita of the mother works for it, but certainly its own shchita would work for it. All right, another opinion. Rav Chizah said, Hashochet is a treifa. A person who shechts an animal which is a treifa, and he finds inside the animal a 9-month-old calf that is still alive. What's the halacha? Ta'un shchita. That calf needs its own shchita. Because the mother was a treifa, so that wouldn't work. Now, it needs its own shchita. And since it needs its own shchita, you have to give an arm and the cheeks and the stomach to the Kohen as a gift. And if it died without a shchita, so then tor milatami b'masa, doesn't have the status of nevela. Since it was part of the mother that was slaughtered, and when a treifa was slaughtered, that takes away Tumas Nevela. So the slaughter for that slaughter also worked for it to take away its Tumas Nevela. Right? If the mother was treif, no. So the treifa status of Chizda says doesn't go to the fetus. And again, Rav Chizda says, Hashochet is a treifa. You shecht an animal, you find it's a treifa. And then you find inside of that animal a living 9-month-old calf. Ton shchita. So that calf is going to need its own shchita because the shchita of its mother, it's not going to make it kosher to be eaten. Since it needs its own shchita, you have to take from it gifts and give them to the Kohen. But if this animal dies before a shchita, so now it doesn't have the status of nevela. If it gets carried, it won't create tumah. Because just like the mother had a shchita, and a shchita of a treifa takes away tumas nevela, so that fact, to take away tumas nevela, worked for it too. But it didn't work to make it kosher. To make it kosher, you have to slaughter it to make it to be eaten.
So that baby, 9 months old baby is not kosher.
Until it gets its own shchita.
But if it's dead,
If it's dead, it can't be eaten.
finito na music. That's it. Gone.
No.
Okay.
I'm like a chamo. I'm like a chamo.
Yeah, exactly. Bediuk.
Amar le Rava said to Rav Chizda, I don't understand. Ton shchita keman. You're saying that this fetus needs to be slaughtered. Who's that like? Okay, it must be Rabbi Meir. It holds that whenever you have a fetus, it needs its own shchita. So here too, since it was a fetus, what happened with the mother didn't impact it. So it needs its own shchita. One second, but if you say that when this fetus dies, Torah Milatam V'Masa, it doesn't have Tumas Nevela, Kemad Rabbanan. That's already like the Rabbanan that hold that the mother's, what was done to the mother works for it. So if what was done to the mother works for it, so then already what was done for the mother was a non-kosher shchita. It should be that you can't use it anymore. So Rav Chizda said back, one second, and according to your logic, what about the Brisa, where Reb Chia said what I said? Your logic saying that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. What about Reb Chia? Reb Chia says in the Brisa, if somebody slaughters an animal, finds that it's a treifa, then he finds inside a 9-month-old fetus, ton shchita, the 9-month-old fetus needs its own shchita, therefore chai b'zor l'chaim v'keva, from that shchita you have to give gifts to the Kohen, v'immeis, and if the fetus dies, Torah Milatami V'Masa. If the fetus dies, it's not going to be nevela. So why don't you ask the same question? So shchita keman Rabbi Meir. So if it needs shchita, who's that? That's following Rabbi Meir, because the fetus is independent. One second, it may Torah Milatami V'Masa's Kerabanan. So whatever way you're going to answer up Rabbi Chia, that's the way to answer up me. So Rabbi said back to Rabbi Chizda, no, hello kasha. Rabbi Chia, when who said, if it's dead, it's not nevela. Maybe it doesn't mean if it dies. It means im kvar mitzomes kama. If he finds the fetus inside already dead, then that fetus is not going to be nevela. Because since the mother's shchita took away tumas nevela from it, the mother's shchita takes away the tumas nevela from the fetus that's dead inside of it. Because the dead fetus gets impacted by the shchita. Because it's babehema, so it's in the animal. But you said that the fetus can come out alive and then drop dead, and then it won't be nevela anymore. So that's kasha. So that's already a problem. So Amar Leis Rav Chizda responded, "L'didi nami lo kasha. It's not a problem. Arba simanim ashu be'rachmana. When you have the law of the Chachamim that a mother that's slaughtered makes the fetus also kosher, also slaughtered. And you have that law, it's that you have 4 possible pipes to slaughter. You have 4 possible pipes. You can slaughter the mother, and that'll work for the fetus, or you can slaughter the fetus. So therefore, that's what's happening here. There are still the 2 pipes that are in the fetus. And those can be slaughtered and be matured. But what was done to the mother is also going to impact it, because it had those options. The mother was a treifa, it didn't become mutter. But it would be enough to take away Tumas Nevela. Kisalik Rabbi Zeir, when Rabbi Zeir went up to the land of Israel, Ashkechei Rab Asi met Rabbi Zeir, Yosef Kamal Shmaita. The sake over this entire back and forth between Rav Chizda and Rav Amar Les, Rab Asi said to Rabbi Zeir, Yasher. It's beautiful. What you said in the name of Rav Chizda is a beautiful idea. Namely, the idea of Rav Chizda is that when the Chachamim say that the shchita of the mother worked for the fetus, it's not to say that the fetus is part of the mother and its only option would be the shchita of the mother, and therefore if the shchita of the mother was a shchita's treifa, then this fetus is now stuck. It means that the fetus could work on its own, it could even work with the mother's shchita. It has 4 pipes, and therefore the shchita of the mother will impact it positively in the case of the shchita's treifa. And Rabbi Yochanan also said this way. Does that imply The Palagalei, Rav Shimon Lakish, Yochanan says it, but Rish Lakish would argue with it. So Rav Asi answered, Misha v'shayele v'shasikle. Rish Lakish, when Rabbi Yochanan said it, he was just quiet. So I don't know. I left. I don't know. Was Rish Lakish quiet intending to argue? Or Rish Lakish was just quiet intending to agree? The others say, Mishta v'shasi v'shasikle. Rish Lakish at that time was drinking. And since he was drinking, when Rabbi Yochanan said it, he didn't say anything. So I don't know if he argued. I don't know. But I can't say that Rabbi Yochanan agrees with it. But I'm not sure what the view of Rish Lakish is. Okay. We learned in our Mishnah, Rabbi Shimon Shazuri says that if you have a ben pekua, it can grow to be 5 years old and plowing in a field, and still the shechita of the mother worked for it. So 1 second, Hainu Tanakama, it's the same thing as the Tanakama. So Rav Kahana explained, the difference is if it starts walking on the ground. According to the Tanakama, there's a Din D'Rabbanan that a ben pekua, once it starts walking, you do need to give it a shechita. According to Rabbi Shimon Shazuri, it doesn't need a shechita. Even when it's 5 years old, and been walking on the ground quite a bit, it doesn't need a shechita, even midrabanan. So now an amazing idea. The child of a ben pekua with another ben pekua. So each ben pekua has the status that it's slaughtered. So if the two ben pekuas get together, their child is also going to be considered a ben pekua. So now what about if it's not two ben pekuas that create a child, but we have a male who's a ben pekua and a female who's not a ben pekua? What's the halacha then? That's going to be an argument. So Amar Rav Misharshif said, the Divrei Omer, according to the view of Choshen L'Zera, that when we look at an animal, we look both at its mother and its father. We look to the father too. The laws of the father impact the child. So if you have the following case, ben pekua, male ben pekua, that has relations with a regular animal, it's not a ben pekua, that needs a shechita. The child's going to be stuck. Because it's considered basically that it has one pipe, the pipe from its mother, but the pipe from its father is already considered slaughtered. So there's no way to give it a kosher shechita, because kosher shechita means to slaughter two pipes. Amar Abai is like this. Hakol, both of Shimon Shazuri and the Chacham mode, and they be in the following case. The kalut, let's say kalut ben pekua. Let's say the mother is slaughtered, and you find inside of the cow, you found a camel. Inside of the cow, you found a fetus with webbed feet. Shemutter. So that's certainly permitted. By the time of why? Kol milsa d'tmiya. Any bizarre situation, people are going to remember. Oh, this is bizarre. Were you able to eat it without a shechita? Because it was a cow with solid hooves, without split hooves. So that's not going to lead people to think that they can eat generally animals without shechita, and everyone would agree they wouldn't need shechita. Ikadam, the others say, Amar Abai says, Hakol mod, and everybody agrees, the kalut ben chluta, ben pekua. Let's say the ben pekua gave birth to a webbed foot animal, and then that webbed foot animal ben pekua had also a situation of ben pekua. Shemutter, that's certainly allowed. My time, why trade me when it's so bizarre? It's a cow with webbed feet. Its mother's a cow with webbed feet, and it itself was found inside of the stomach. And everybody understands why that could be eaten without shechita. They're not going to start thinking that animals could be eaten without shechita. Amar Ziri said, Amar Chanina said, Halacha Reb Shimon Shazuri. Halacha is like Reb Shimon Shazuri that once, even after the animal walks around, it still doesn't need shechita. Reb Shimon Shazuri Reb Shimon Shazuri used to say you can have lots of ben pekuas, and the children of the ben pekuas and the grandchildren of the ben pekuas, if they're all just born from ben pekuas, none of them are going to need shechita. We're not worried it's going to get confused with other animals. Rabbi Yochanan said, who mutter? No, maybe the ben pekua itself, even though it's plowing, could be slaughtered without shechita. But who could know? But the child of the Ben Pekua, then Reb Shimon Shazuri would agree to the Chachamim, and since it looks like a regular animal, if we allow it without Shechita, people are going to think the regular animals don't need Shechita, and therefore it does need Shechita, Midrabanan. Ada Bar Chavu, Havali Ben Pekua. Ada Bar Chavu had a Ben Pekua, did Nafal Duba Alei, and a wolf jumped on it to kill it. Asal Lakami Rav Ashi came in front of Rav Ashi. Amalei Rav Ashi said, Zil Shachte, you can shecht it. Amalei, so he said, I have Amar Ziri Amar B'chanin Allah B'Shim Shazuri. Isn't Allah like B'Shim Shazuri? You don't even need Shechita. B'chanin B'Shim Shazuri Matu B'vno V'yam B'no Atzok Kol Adoros. B'flu Reb Yochanan Lo Kamer El B'no. Aval Ihu Lo. Amalei, so he said to him, Reb Yochanan Divrei Reb Shimon Shazuri Kamer. Reb Yochanan just explaining the view of Reb Shimon Shazuri. But he doesn't hold like them. He holds really that you do need a Shechita Midrabanan, and that's why I'm passing for you. You need a Shechita. I've Amar Avin Bar Chinina Amar Ulo Amar B'Chanina Allah Reb Shimon Shazuri V'lo Oda L'Kol Mak B'Shan Reb Shimon Shazuri B'Sheinu Allah K'moso. But we don't know Allah is always like Reb Shimon Shazuri. Amalei, he said no. And now Kiyasri Li I hold like this. Reb Yochanan. Reb Yochanan says Allah Reb Shimon Shazuri B'Mesukan U'B'Chumas Ma'aser Shel D'mayim. Two halachas like Reb Shimon Shazuri, and everywhere else halacha is not like Reb Shimon Shazuri. Okay, Bezrat Hashem tomorrow we'll see what those two halachas are.